All right, we're on. Come on over. Whoa! Wow. Hi guys, how you doing? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, guys. Here with Greg again. Lucky enough to get to do some training with my partner today and work on some stuff and film some stuff for you guys. So apologize for this not being the live Zoom format that we've been doing, but I have Greg here, so I just wanted to film something, and this will be your 7 o'clock class tonight. Okay, so if you're watching this at 7 o'clock, how you guys doing? Okay, so we're gonna work a little bit from the Kesa Gatame, from the scarfhold position today. Also for Greg's students, I know this is what you guys have been focusing on this week. So I want to show you guys a nice, easy triangle setup that's really sneaky from there that I like a lot. This is something that I bait people with a lot to hit the triangle, which is one of my stronger positions. And essentially what I'm going to show you guys involves just shifting your weight slightly so that it gives your partner that feeling that they can move you over. Okay, so we're going to start here. If I have my partner, if I have Greg down here, okay, and I'm in that Kesa Gatame position, and just a quick refresher from my students because we haven't done this in a while. If you'll remember, I can hit this from any kind of a side control position. What I'm looking to do is isolate this arm, shift my weight, okay, kind of slide with that hip and stay nice and low. And I want to get underneath this sort of shoulder girdle here of my partner. Okay, so there's no ability here easily for my partner to kind of bring that elbow and that shoulder back in and pummel that space back. Okay, so once we shift into that Kesa, we're going to drive our hip in, slide under, almost like we're sliding into home plate. Hips are high. I'm going to kick that leg under, so I make kind of like a little shelf under that shoulder for my partner here. And then the big detail for Kesa for me, which you guys have probably heard me say a few times for my guys, is this detail that Alex Schweinsberg showed me, Judo Alex showed me, which is a really good judo guy detail, and that's this. Usually when I used to do this, we have a flat foot over here for the post. But if my partner is big enough or they can create a good enough angle, someone like Greg that's got this excellent ability to kind of bridge very well. If they turn that angle where my shoulder is and just bridge into me right now, Greg, this bridge hard. Look the other way, bridge like toward me, like can you take me over? That way, yeah, or I mean, but toward me like this way, turn my head. Like push me like into me. Oh, like this way. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna fall right over. So even with a good post here, if Greg kind of feels where that angle is here, my weight's a little too far over, he's gonna sit up into me. Go ahead, Greg, please, one more time. And I'm just gonna move my legs altogether. Okay. So if I articulate the toes here a little bit and I turn my heel out, guys, watch what happens. Go ahead, Greg, same position, please. Go, bridge. Okay? It's very, very difficult. Greg can't move me now. Okay. So a little shift of the angle with the toes, and that creates a whole different structure here to keep me from getting pushed backwards. Okay, so we're going to be in that Kesa position. I have that good control under here, and I have that good kind of driving off the active toes here, and now I'm controlling this arm. Okay, now what I'm going to do is what Greg wants to do anyway. Okay, which is have Teddy lick his head. Okay, now what we're going to do here is I know Greg wants to start to make a beeline with his elbow down to the floor. Okay, so I'm going to let him do that. He's probably going to be fighting me anyway if I have this control. When I feel him pushing that arm down and in here, guys, all I'm going to do is I'm going to continue that motion with a little push here. Okay, so step one is going to be once we have our Kesa here, that my partner goes to push that elbow in, and I switch my base down here with that palm, and I push my partner's arm to the floor, and I just slide right over it. Okay, it's very nonchalant. I don't have to really hold that or pull too hard. Step one is here. I just let my partner push, and I continue, and I just slide my arm over. Okay, I'm gonna step two here. Pick this up on the receiving end here and just monitor this. I can control the sleeve here. I can control the wrist. If I have no gi, it doesn't really matter. All right, and now all I'm gonna do is encourage my partner here to bridge me opposite way. And the way that I'm gonna do that here, step three, is I'm just gonna start to lean my weight just a little bit too high, and Greg's gonna feel like I'm off balance here. Good, and as he starts to bridge me over, okay, all I'm gonna do here as I let him push me over, go ahead, Greg, slow. He's gonna push me over, guys. I'm gonna take that foot, we're losing the frame, we'll move over in a second, but I'm gonna take that foot and I'm just gonna put it on my partner's hip. Okay, so move over just a tiny bit. Okay, guys, so again, good Kesa. Okay, under the arm. Articulate my toes here. When my partner goes to make that elbow in and make the frame there, I start to just boom, slide right over it with that leg. Okay, just push it down and slide right over it. And I just get some kind of grip on the other side here as my second part of the move. Okay, my partner is going to start to bridge me over as he feels my weight off a little bit here, guys. Check this out. As I'm falling over here, my left foot here, okay, excellent film, my left foot pushes onto my partner's hip. So I know Greg's going to now come up on top. All right, good. My foot is on his hip. And now as my foot is on his hip, I'm just going to lift up and catch him in that triangle as we come over. Okay, so if we turn, Greg, can we just turn this like this? Okay, So you guys see with that foot on the hip, it gives me the ability to drive the hips up, turn the toes, and chop. Okay, I get that really good seal when I chop here. Holding my shin now, this is kind of last step, here, step 4. Holding my shin, making my angle, always think triangle, we gotta make that angle, so my partner can stack me now. Closing the triangle, and finishing with my 3 pressures. Curling my toes in, okay, squeezing those adductors, and elevating the hips slightly to finish. Okay, like Master Marcio does, taking all that space away when I curl my toes, and of course, flex my feet, okay? So one more time, guys. All right, we have 4 parts to our move here. First one is just a good Kesa. You guys were in side control, or your partner moved, and we pulled that arm up, and we drove into that Kesa Gatame, okay? We articulated the toes here, so my partner couldn't push me over. And I'm starting to try to gain control of this arm. It could be a sleeve, it could be an overhook here, whatever it is, okay? My partner starts to bring that elbow down in frame, I push it down to the floor, and I just slide over, okay? I'm gonna control it on the other side here, and I'm just gonna give my partner a little bait here. I'm gonna let them feel like they can launch me over. As Greg comes off on top, that foot finds his hip before he even lands. Now I can lift up, thank you, Greg, okay? And bite, okay? Make sure that we hold our shin, don't just hold the triangle here, you won't have a great angle. So you gotta hold the shin, angle, angle, lock, and then finish, okay? With those 3 pressures, again. Lock it in, adductors, dorsiflex the toes, squeeze everything tight, activate those small muscles. You can pull down on the head a little bit, or for me, I like to lift the hips up there as that sort of third piece of the triangle. Those 3 pressures that sort of work in concert with each other, okay?
All right, well, if I can be on the other side here, you head toward the camera.
My head toward the camera?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Teddy, your head toward the camera, please.
Yeah, Teddy.
Awesome. So you notice that I have my tail going. That's an important part of this move. Teddy, I'm not.
Oh gosh.
Oh. Keep your Uncle Greg. Keep your Uncle Greg. Don't get touched. Okay. Okay.
Distracting, isn't it?
No. It's my favorite kind of strike. If somebody's defending with their arms against their chest, this is. But I've got the arm underneath. I get my position. Earlier this week, I talked about a series that starts from collecting the wrist, getting a stiff arm, pinning this arm out, going through this like bent arm, straight arm situation. But that's a fantastic series. It's a good one to know from this position. But probably my favorite one, and maybe my highest percentage one, and the one that I probably use the most against higher level guys, is this one here. I got that same connection underneath the elbow. I want my knee again under his shoulder blade. And if I can create just a bug, right? So I'll either push his chin or I'll get a hold of the collar and I'll create just a little bug. The really common reaction if his hands have been at his chest are to make contact with my bicep and make it go away. So you kind of push away. Yeah, just a little bit of that. Yeah, and this is just a strong frame for him. His elbow's not even really that unsafe. It's kind of to his body. But what I'm going to do is keep what he gave me. So he touches my bicep, I keep it. And it's actually a decent grip. So get your arm back.
Yeah, it's great.
So, and it's just my thumb against my chest. So I'm here. And then I'm going to step over the head. So this like little series is just off a straight arm. It's just starts with a straight arm attack. So I push the chain. He makes a connection. I step over, and what I'm looking to step over is my heel to right his mastoid process, right where his neck connects to his head. There's that bone right there. So that's where I want to be with my heel, but only my heel. If I put my whole foot on the ground, I find that guys more easily clear this and get back. When I put just my heel on the ground, not only is it a better little dig, but it's a better digging implement, because what I need to do, one of the things I might want to do next is dig underneath his head for like sort of follow-up move to this. But I'm going to connect to here, and now I bring the step over, just one note on the step over. When I keep the arm, I can't step over here either. So if you feel like, oh, that's a flexible guy move or something like that, well, I can't step over his head either. I have to bring my head away. So you notice that my head gets smaller in frame. That's me bringing my head basically over to his hip. That's to step over. I go right to my heel. And from here, I bring my hips, have to be off the ground. I'm not going to finish an armbar here. Hips come off the ground so they're behind his elbow. And let's turn it a tiny bit. And what I'm going to do here is possibly catch an armbar here, but I usually slide this to the wrist so that I have an actual control, actually holding onto his wrist here. So let's just do the whole thing from this angle. He's defending, just has his, he's blocking his neck, right? I turn the face, he touches. If he makes contact, I just keep this by going thumb to chest. I step over to my heel. My hips are looking for his elbow. That's a sight you get better at the more you do. Basically, don't leave your hips on the ground. You want to go find his elbow. And I'm just trying to straighten his arm here, either in my elbow pit, but even better if I slide out to my hand.
Sending that on.
Rolls it out.
It goes on much faster.
And it really breaks over this hip, not just straight along my body. So this straight arm bar, usually I do, but it is probably not. I'm going to show two moves, just a move A and move B, because this, honestly, the second move is the move I hit more often, as much as I tried to hit it. Today I did not succeed with my friend here. But
we were in this position quite a bit though, guys, and Greg was on top of me a lot, fishing for that. And
this is exactly
super annoying.
Series
Yeah, exactly what you were doing.
Kept trying to take the arm, but what happens is that one of the most common defenses is he connects his hands. Yeah, because I'm not going to straighten his arm now. I mean, he's got a good connection. So what I look for is this. When I do move A, when I do sort of this move here and I step over, as soon as he reaches for his hand, I try to hit his arm in two ways. I try to push his hand away from his other hand, but I also try to collect his tricep. So if I try to push, it's going to be an Americana. If I try to Americana him with his arm in front of his biceps, forearm in front of his bicep, don't let me push this out, it's going to be very hard, right? But if I can hit the arm into this position, so it's much harder to resist now, right?
Yeah, definitely. Weak angle.
Weak angle. So I want to get to that weak angle quickly. It's not like doing a submission quickly to do this. That's not a submission on Brad. That's just putting him in a weaker angle. And from this weaker angle, I'll have better ability to connect that finish, right? So again, we touch my chest or bicep. Keep step. And I would go for this, but when he goes to connect his hands, it's a little quick movement, just where I hit his wrist and I hit his tricep. I'm trying to get his low forearm next to his tattoo instead of in front of his body, because this I can't push out. But if I kind of quickly get it out to here, then I can connect, and it's going to be not a lot of movement to catch an Americana from here. Okay.
Yeah, so.
You will not have to dismount and go to here to catch something more conventional. Because you have his elbow off the ground, it's actually a very quick little.
Yeah, and Greg, so one thing that I noticed too, guys, on this is that when we think about a conventional Americana, Greg's always got his elbow where, right? If we're doing this like from a side control or mount, for example, he's always got his elbow sort of making a frame with his elbow in his forearm around my head, right? So my head is sort of stuck in place there now. I can isolate my arm. But he's actually, what he does is using his leg in place of his elbow as the frame here. And when he goes to hit there and he changes that weak angle, my head is kind of stuck in place here thanks to that strong frame with the leg. So he doesn't need to go all the way through, man. My head is like stuck, and then he has the angle on the elbow already to make me tap quick. Yeah, that's nice.
So that's a nice little series. You will catch the straight arm on people who haven't seen it before. A lot of times they're like, oh. But if you do it once or twice, the people will get savvy. They'll catch their arm. High level guy, they'll catch their arm because it's just probably smart. They're not letting their arm get extended. But when they go to do this, the follow-up Americana is probably the higher percentage move, I mean, in my experience. So it's a nice little series for you.
Yeah, nice. And you can kind of you can hunt back and forth for those two kind of concerts too, right? Which is cool.
And a lot of times to get out of the Americana, they punch it straight, and then you have a razor. So like the series continues. Yeah, for sure. Nice. The saga continues.
The saga continues. All right, guys. So just a couple quick moves for you guys tonight. Again, thanks again for bearing with us through this time. It's awesome to have Greg here to kind of help film with me and train with me, and much easier to obviously create a class with another person than it is with the grappling dummy. So be safe, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, so and we're 2 for 2 for me learning a new move out of the position.
Yeah, and that was good too, because you set that position up on me like 3 or 4 times today. So now I know what you're doing.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thanks. Take care.
End meeting.